Disclaimer: I do not own the clips or music shown. These are used for review and entertainment purposes. Thank you. Yep, that's right. It's me, Camden, on Channel Camden, and welcome to the Webbed Up Recaps, where I'm going to give my thoughts on the first few episodes of the latest Spider-Man series, known as Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Yep, that's right. The latest Spidey series that literally just came out last week, where we get to see Peter Parker in his earlier days again, and it's on Disney Plus. And season 1 is currently going on right now. Like, literally, the show has been announced since, like, 2021. And now we're here. Literally, the show has been in production since, like, 2021, I believe. And originally, it was supposed to be, like, a prequel to the MCU Spider-Man, like, what he was doing before Civil War. Then they changed their mind and went, like, nah, you know what? No, we're not gonna do that. How about we just have our own little continuity, a whole new thing, like a whole new thing, focus on our whole new Spider-Man. These two, they're different. Two different Spider-Men. Alright, two different Spider-Men in the multiverse. Alright, I hope you got that, okay? Alright. It's completely different. Whole new thing, whole different. There's some references to the MCU, but it's kind of like in a similar fashion that the Spectacular Spider-Man used to reference the Raimi trilogy every 10 seconds, or Batman animated series having the Elfman theme play here and there. Let's go ahead and get right on. We see a younger Peter Parker, him getting ready for school. Yeah, we see the spider bite again. We see the spider bite. Here it's a little different. Before the spider bites him, we see a little fight scene with Doctor Strange and a symbiotic alien through a portal at Peter's school. And that's what led to him getting bit. Sure, alright. I like the voice for Doctor Strange here, but it's kind of just like, oh, okay, that's cool. The first few minutes was okay, but you didn't really need it, because you already know what's going to happen to Peter Parker, alright? Like, you already... But also, Uncle Ben is already dead. They don't show him, like, getting shot. He's, like, already dead. As a matter of fact, he's dead before he even gets bit by the spider. When I first heard rumors about this change, I was... I like it when he's fueled by guilt into becoming Spider-Man. He's like, man, I used my powers irresponsibly. Now my uncle is dead. I do think, my theory is that later on in the season we might see more of Uncle Ben in flashbacks and him being a good person, and him giving advice to Peter onto being a good person and providing for other people, like providing like to a random person on the streets in New York, and that motivates him, like Uncle Ben as a person, to being Spider-Man and helping people. The magic words being said is going to be said in one of those flashbacks. I don't even need to fast forward to months later, where we see Peter dealing with him being Spider-Man. We see this proto homemade suit, which I kind of like it. I like it. I rock with it. He also is friends with Nico Minoru, who's one of the Runaways. Also like the banter and the back and forth with Peter and Nico. It's new. You didn't really expect to see these two characters interact like that. But here it's neat. Peter is sad in one scene that he didn't get to end up with a girl in school that's and Nico pretty much like Peter's in his freshman year liking like basically a grades above you. Having a crush on somebody who's like grades above you while you're in your freshman year, yeah, I never, no one has ever been. Becomes friends with Lonnie Lincoln. And guess who's Lonnie Lincoln in the comics? Guess who he is? I hope, hopefully nothing will happen to him later on in this series. Hopefully nothing will happen to him later on. He's a well done character. In the first episode, I'm sold on him. I even get to see a bit of this character that I did not expect at all. Like, when there's a scene where he's going home and, like, the neighborhood he's walking through is Like I just didn't expect it like at all. I was like, oh, there's a bit where he gets racially profiled like twice. I did not expect. Also, it kind of show that they're interesting in what Peter's supporting cast got going on in themselves and how Peter may affect them or how they may affect Peter, which is something I haven't really seen. And it's like in Spider-Man TV wise in a while. Throughout the years, like we don't got to worry about the everybody is a scientist or got spider powers, and they not that. They got their own stuff going on. Peter got his stuff going on. It feels nice. Exactly what I want from Spider. But this Peter, there's a neat little scene where he helps a person out at the pizza restaurant. Oh my god! And he's being genuinely nice. He's being a hero for New York City. He isn't just like punching people in the face or immediately sending someone to jail. He was understanding in the scene. I love it. Like if you watch this scene, it's great. At the end of the episode,
it's nice to meet you. My name is Norman Osborn.
Well. Peter gets a certain visit in Aunt May's apartment, and it kind of references Civil War, his introduction scene, with Norman Osborn, voiced by Coleman Domingo. So, hello, Peter. I want you to join my little internship. I'm something of a scientist myself. And Domingo does a great job voicing Norman Osborn. Like, it's his own voice, but he sounds a little bit like Defoe in some lines. So, what took them so long? I mean, bro already had the waves. Norman Osborn wears like a purple do-rag to sleep at night. Corp internship. And we get to meet certain characters like Amadeus Cho. We get to meet Asha, who's from Wakanda. We get to meet Jean, not Jean Grey, not Jean DeWolf, just a different Jean. She's Finesse. So Whitman, and he's kind of a butthole to Peter, and I wonder what happens to him later on soon. I wonder what happens to him. And you get introduced to Dr. Connors. I wonder what happens to Dr. Connors. I really wonder what happens to Dr. Connors at some point. I love that they're setting up the villains early. I like that. Like, they're getting us introduced to them and set their relationships with Peter before they become more the cast and Peter in his everyday life into becoming Spider-Man, and how, if you've known this character a very long time, his struggles with keeping his identity a secret, how it affects him, how it affects other people around him, and how Peter sometimes like makes certain decisions where later he's like, dang it, I forgot to do this thing. Now I'm dealing with this. I was so busy with my fight with Electro, I forgot my date with Gwen, and I forgot to take pictures for J. Jonah Jameson. Man, come on, man. And it's felt here. I think that was perfectly executed. I was like, yep, classic Spider-Man. There it is. Genuinely makes mistakes. See, him and Nico get invited into a party with a bunch of kids from their school. And Peter's like, yeah, I'll be there. I'll try to make my way to be there. But right after, I'll try to leave the Oscorp internship and try to show up there. I'm going to try, but then he doesn't make it. And Nico clearly felt some type of way near the end of the episode and kind of felt sad. And also the fact it's shown that she's more introverted. And also Spider-Man in this episode, one of the villains he faces is a more obscure villain, Butane. Spider-Man fights Butane, and it's a pretty neat fight scene. Said with Peter making some mistakes, when he switches into his costume, in between the stairs, there's a security camera. And he gets caught by Norman Osborn. And Peter tries to explain himself and gives excuses. Norman turns around and he's all like, so, you're Spider-Man, I see. Very, very interesting, Peter. Yeah, hopefully nothing will backfire. This totally won't make Peter regret this decision at all in the future. A little bit into Peter and Norman's relationship. I like seeing the fact in the previous episode he meets Harry and saves him, and he hits a dude with a brick with no hesitation. And I would like to see more of Peter and Harry's friendship grow into the series as well. I would like to see the interaction between Peter, Harry, and Norman, all three of them, throughout this season. But yeah, this episode was also even better. We got to see a bit of more of Peter's life as Spider-Man, how it affects other people, and I would love to see this progress more in the series. Also, it sets up certain characters before see these names brought up at least once or so in the next few episodes. Expect these to be brought up. Also, another note that I like to bring out is like the intro. I love the visuals in the intro, bro. It is so appealing. I love looking at it. Easter eggs and name drops. At the scene where Spidey saves Harry, Screwball is brought up in is where we, left off, where Norman knows that Peter is Spider-Man, and they have a talk and dinner, and they're like, "So, Spider-Man, you're Peter Parker. I can assist you in your superheroics. I can give you a few upgrades here and there. Fill in that role that Robert Downey Jr. does." And then Peter's all like, "I don't know. Should I? But then there's also some villains that come in, because typical superhero shows, you got to do that villain of the week type stuff for a little while. Speed Demon and Tarantula. And Roger Craig Smith voices Speed Demon. Roger Craig Smith voices a fast character. Sure, they're pretty neat villains, and I like the fights. It's pretty neat. I like it. And I love some of Spidey's quips in this scene. They're not like corny little puns or nothing like that. It's just genuinely he's actually talking crap about them, about the way they look, the things that they say. They're like, just everything about it. It's just
finishing each other's sentences. It'd be cute if you weren't violently attacking people. I'll tell you what. You guys surrender peacefully, and I will ask the cops to give you adjoining cells.
A scene where Peter and Nico were playing video games, and I heard a tune from the game that sounded very similar to a certain game that came out in 2005. Lonnie Lincoln. Lonnie. See, now it's his brother that turns into a street gang. The 110th Street Gang. And then Lonnie finds out, he's like, "Bro, come on, let's go. What are you doing with these people?" Then Big Don, the leader of the gang, he's like, you can join my gang. And then Lonnie's brother leaves, but Lonnie himself stays reluctantly. Something was gonna happen to him, but it still kind of just did it had to be this way. Come on. When Peter and Lonnie have to inevitably fight, that's it's gonna be sad. But then Norman helps him a little bit into fighting Speed Demon and Tarantula. He's like, "Peter, if you do this, you can stop him." So we're having a superhero show about our character that dresses up in primarily red, and he's close friends with one of the more obscure characters of its universe, which they didn't really speak to them that much in the comics, or at least not as tight with them as he is in the comics. And he's being mentored by his arch nemesis until they inevitably have to fight. It seems like this show has been reincarnated. Oh my gosh. Peter, swing. Beat Speed Demon and Tarantula. But then we lead into the next few episodes, 4 and 5, where you get to see more villains come out in the rise with dangerous technology. You also get to, on Lonnie's side, you get to deal with the street gang going up against the Scorpions with Mac Gargan and Carmella Black, Rarely see Norman try to tweak the Spidey suits a little bit. Try to help him get better as a superhero. You also get to see alternate costumes, which are, nods at some suits Peter wore in the comics. Like you get to see him wear these suits that I didn't expect would see the light of day in a Spidey show. There's a big speech about, like, Peter, I need to make you become a better hero. Make you a little bit different than the Avengers, because that Tony Stark guy, look at this thing he made. Look at this. AI has turned against the world. Voiced by Josh Keaton once he actually shows up. Like this happens at almost every Spider-Man show. There's at least one Spider-Man voice actor that shows up in a Spider-Man show that voiced Spider-Man before, but they're not voicing Spider-Man. They're like voicing somebody else. It happened in Ultimate Spider-Man where Chris Daniel Barnes was like Electro and Spider-Knight and Wolf Spider. And don't forget, in the 2017 show, Josh Keaton and Yuri Lowenthal was in the show as well. And there's a bunch of technical difficulties with the suit. And he's like, man, I don't know if I really like these suits as much. They don't scream friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Norman's all like, alright, bet. Here's this suit. The the Oscorp suit. Suit looks, I love the design. It looks tough. There's a scene with Lonnie talking to Big Don. And he says, I missed the part where that's my problem. That line had to be intentional. It wasn't said by Peter, but it was still said in the Spider-Man project. In 5, you get to see more Spidey's Rogues Gallery grow and change it. We also see Unicorn get some technology from Otto Octavius, voiced by Hugh Dancy.
Life goes on.
And Unicorn starts trashing stuff, and she's also associated with Dimitri and Alexei Sisevich. Scene with Alexei and Spider-Man interacting. He's like, just because you saved my life does not mean we're going to be friends, Spider. Get to see more of Peter and Harry becoming friends, and them interacting is nice. There's a little instances where Peter's like, I kind of always wanted my suit to be more like red and blue. Kind of inspired by Captain America. Spidey being inspired by Cap is always a great thing. I love that. The Punisher looks up to Captain America. And there's also a Luna Snow cameo when we see Harry's Instagram. And Nico kind of talks to Peter about, like, I don't know about all these Osborns, man. Like, Norman, Harry, whoever. I don't know, man. Like, even in the end, where Nico just wants to spend some time with Peter, just to watch see a movie. Harry shows up, and Peter's like, me and Harry are friends, and I was wondering if you could just watch the movie with us, because, he's cool. And he gave me a ride. Nico was all like, alright, I guess. Sure. Cut back to Lonnie. After they got in a big fight with the Scorpions gang, and he kind of got stabbed, they're like, we need to give you a bigger name. We need to give you a better nickname. How about we give you, some kind of tombstone. Overall, I think this series is pretty good so far. I like it. It's setting the building blocks for this new universe. While Peter Parker's figuring out his way to being Spider-Man, but in a little bit of an alternate, like a little bit of a different. We'll see some of the basic stuff, like Spidey quipping or having the typical horrible work-life balance. And also, you get to see a bit about him clearly being sad about the death of Uncle Ben. Even there was a scene where he was messing with his old camera. Peter Parker and photography. I wonder where that will lead. And also the villains are very well set up, and the ones that we already seen are pretty fun. Some of the supporting cast is pretty fun, and they're well done. They also got their own interesting stuff. Y'all's webbed up recaps, my current thoughts on the new Spidey series so far. And I hope you like, comment, comment, and subscribe.